If you tap dance, don't you say nothing. I'm the librarian, and I came to read. Y'all already know that I had to give y'all a cute little remix, especially after what I sat up and heard Daniel Caesar salad with no dressing, because we know that there is no seasoning in his world, whatever gentrified world he's currently living in and making his lives from while he's drunk. You know, there's no type of seasoning in his world. There's no dressing in his world, okay? So there's a reason why Daniel Caesar and the music industry are both, two topics, two things in my title, because Daniel is not the only one with this tired ass mentality. And at this point, I just really want to break it down. Daniel went up in there on one of his lives, I don't know if it was Instagram or something, and he was just like, you know what, listen, I'm tired of y'all being mean to white people. I'm so tired of y'all being mean to white people. Why are we being mean to Yes Julz? And all this shit that y'all are mad about, it happened in the past. We just need to get over it and get through it. I have an independent company. I'm putting money in black people. I'm just like, okay, let's break it down, because there's some other stuff that he said as well that we need to discuss. The first thing is that, Daniel, you sound like some of these white people who want to avoid accountability. You use the very same rhetoric that they use when they find themselves, getting dragged, getting roasted for saying something extremely ignorant or doing something extremely racist. You have the same, you're using the same like dog whistles that they do. Like, why are y'all pressed about it? All that shit happened in the past. Not realizing, Daniel, that these things are currently happening right now. So I'm not like, for everyone to say that, these things that y'all are so pressed about, angry about, happened in the past. The first thing is, the past informs the present, which lets us know what the future is going to be like. So we can't just sit up here and deal with these issues without addressing the past. That's the first thing. The second thing, like I said, is currently happening. It's still happening to this day. And the other thing is, I wish that a lot of these black male artists had that same type of energy, had this same energy for calling out when people are being so blatantly white supremacist, racist, and when they're being extremely tone deaf. If you guys kept the same energy that you have when it's time to call out black people, and focus that energy onto the people like Yes Julz, who come into our spaces, steal a bunch of shit, mess a bunch of shit up, and get angry when you call them out for pissing on areas that weren't even meant for them in the first place. You come into the community and you start disrespecting people. I don't understand it. If y'all had the same energy that y'all had calling black people out when it's time to call out white people who continue to say the N-word, and y'all love to do concert with them, y'all love to feature them on your songs. If you guys had the same energy, y'all call out everything except the abusers that y'all work with, the rapists that y'all work with, the non-black people who continue to trample over the culture. You're literally just being a parrot for white people, Daniel. White people who do not want to be held accountable. I want you to understand that you are spreading their propaganda instead of building up a mind of your own. Now, Daniel, you remind me of some of these black men who have such a narrow view of blackness and what it means to be black, that you say, you know what, y'all bullied me when I was in middle school for watching anime and video games. I'm going to just disrespect all y'all. Fuck y'all niggas. I'm going over to the unseasoned side. And what I find so ironic and crazy is that for some reason, a lot of the black men who have the mentality that you do, they can filter through the white people. They can filter through the white people who are extremely racist, who hate niggas, who don't want us to have any fucking rights. Y'all can find the white people that you're cool to chill with. And most times y'all don't even filter them out, because they still end up being anti-black and racist as hell. But y'all won't want to use that same filtering energy to find black people that you cool with to hang around. Like, it's not making any sense. And what that leads me to is my next point, is that, this slave mentality where you say to yourself, get with the winning team because white people are on top of society. So that's all we really need to know about what you think about yourself and your blackness, because if you're calling white people the winning team, if you're more focused on standing up for white girls who are unoriginal, not talented, and swagger jackers, culture vultures, if you're more interested in standing up for them than your own blackness, we already know how you feel about your blackness. And to me, that's something that I hope that you will be able to come to terms with, something that I hope you'll be able to deal with. I'm sure that a lot of us understand where you're coming from, because we've struggled with accepting who we are. We've struggled with shedding the cooning spirit a lot of times. But I'm hoping that we can speed this process up for you, sis, because there are a lot of people who want to continue singing Best Part, And at this point, it seems like we're reaching the worst part of 2019. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I asked this question on Twitter. I said, what would the scene look like? What would the industry look like if, you know, some of these black men who were so quick and so ready to stand up for these White Walkers, instead of using the energy there, what would the music industry look like if we just stood up for these black women, especially these dark-skinned women in rap and music, whatever, and help them build the platforms that they desire to build with the skill and talent that they have? What would it look like? And I'll say it again, a lot of our community is so focused on being close to power, like what Daniel said so clearly. He said it himself that, you know, we just need to get with the winning team. We need to get with white people. Like, sis, are you telling us to kiss their feet? A lot of our community is so focused on getting as close to power as they can that they don't care how they get trampled, treated like a doormat. The culture gets shat on, gentrified, whitewashed, and presented to mainstream for whiteness to profit off of it, and still leaving our black communities in the goddamn dust. What would it look like if we built these platforms for ourselves instead of defending the culture vultures that don't give a shit about us or what we say? These culture vultures like Yes Julz come into the community and disrespect. That's the first thing they do, disrespect black women. Because a lot of y'all niggas do that shit anyway, so I guess when you see a white girl doing it, it gets you off a little bit even more. I'm so exhausted. I'm tired of it. And there was another statement that he made, I think it was towards the end of it, where he was like, well, I believe in what I'm saying. I believe in what I'm saying. If y'all don't want to listen to my music, it's whatever. Y'all can cancel me if y'all want to. I'm already making songs. Y'all don't have to listen to it. Now, I want to talk about this whole cancel culture type of thing. There's so many people who get so angry anytime we have a discussion about celebrities and their problematic ass statements. They're like Daniel in that they want their faves to avoid accountability, and they get angry at anybody who calls their faves out. And they say, y'all always looking for something to cancel culture. Now, what I find hilarious is that no matter how many times we talk about Kanye West tap dancing for massa, he's still out here making money. No matter how many times we call out y'all faves for being rapists and murderers, they're still out here making money. They're still selling out concerts. No matter how many times we call out your white faves for saying the N-word in their fucking songs and y'all gassing them up, they're still out here making money. They're still out here selling out concerts. So that invalidates all of your arguments, because just because Adrian is mad about something, just because people who have some IQ points and some sense and some historical knowledge and who are open to learning some shit, just because they are angry about something will not automatically cause your faith to sink into deep debt and bankruptcy. Like, stop playing around. Half the time, some of the most successful people are the ones who continue to tap dance, are the ones who continue to kiss white supremacist ass, are the ones who continue to be abusive, murderers, and rapists. So stop acting like us having a discussion or us dragging your ass with words is going to amount to anything other than other trash people following you and paying you for what you believe in the music that you make. Stop playing. We can't cancel shit, obviously, or else we would be in another place. Society-wise, we would be in another dimension. We can't cancel shit, because if we could, trust me, a lot more shit would be obsolete. It would be out of here. But we can't do it, so stop acting like us trying to break down these statements so more dumb shit doesn't pop up in the future is going to suddenly wipe out your bank account. Sit down. It's not realistic at all. My personal wish is that, you know, people would just sit down and think for a moment. Think about what you're saying before you open your mouth. And I know that's going to be difficult for anybody who does not respect themselves or their blackness, or who thinks that whiteness or white people are the winning team, okay? That's going to be difficult for anybody, because if you don't respect yourself, it's going to be hard for you to identify when you're being disrespected, because it's almost like, well, I'm used to it. I disrespect myself already. I don't respect my blackness already. So if somebody else doesn't do it, it's like you can't see it, or it's a non-factor. So just because you don't see it, just because you don't respect yourself, don't expect the rest of us to get behind your tap dancing ass and start to eat the ass of white supremacy alongside your ass. It's not going to happen. And this whole idea, this whole notion that black people are complaining anytime they call out some ignorant bullshit, this whole idea that black people are mean, they're angry whenever they're calling out injustices, or whenever they're saying that, you know, you're white ass, you have the whole planet to dominate, you have all of society to rule over, let us have this space without you, you know, speaking over us or disrespecting our black women. You know, the notion that when black people talk about issues like that or bring shit up like that, that we're being disrespectful is completely asinine, and I want you to understand that. You're talking about whole systems that have been set up to disenfranchise like all minority communities, from enslavement to gentrification to appropriating and then profiting off of it, to forcefully and violently entering our communities and saying whatever the hell they want and disrespecting us. Talk about it and clapping back and dragging your ass is not being disrespectful, it's preserving yourself at that point. But at the end of the day, everything that this comes down to is about power and ownership, and that's what we're trying to discuss. That's what we're trying to talk about, especially in Yes Julz's case. It comes down to ownership. If you feel like as a white person you own everything in this motherfucker, these spaces for minorities that have been set up because of white supremacy, because of us continuing to be dominated, you as a white person will feel like you own those spaces as well. And so we have to bring that shit up if we want to protect ourselves. That's what I'm saying, and I wish that Daniel and other black men in the music industry would understand it from that perspective, because it doesn't matter how much coin that your ass has, it doesn't matter how many, you know, millionaires you know. At the end of the day, these white people will be very quick to remind you your black ass just exactly who your black ass is, and then you'll be running to us talking about black Twitter do your thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I guess I would love to know what you guys think in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot of discussion underneath here. And now I hope that some of you have contacted, or at least tried to contact, Professor X, because deleting Daniel's live stream from my memory banks and my brain cells is the only way that I could ever have a good goddamn evening.